Say it ain't Zoe. Oh, it's Zoe. Zoran Mamdani, that is, New York City mayor, back with another multi-million-dollar bill for taxpayers. And this one is full commie. His Office of Mass Engagement, barely a month old, already exploding in size and cost. Mamdani says it's about getting more New Yorkers involved in government, but it sounds more like City Hall, a cheerleading squad. No, it's kind of a bureau of disinformation, misinformation, Stalin-esque, if you will. This office has ballooned from 14 to 40 staffers with more than $5 million in salaries alone. And the new hires, they're pulling in an average of $125,000 a year. That's a 186% jump in headcount, 175% surge in cost. So at a time when the city is facing budget pressures, exodus of tax-paying New Yorkers, you can call them wealthy, not if you actually have to live here, they're not. Mayor Mamdani is looking for some spin. This is a propaganda office, Brian. There's no other way to look at it. So what kind of propaganda are they spreading?
The kind that tells you that left is right, that up is down, that dirty is clean, and that poor is rich and rich is poor, something like that. So I just want to do the contrast. I think we're kind of at I feel like there's a battle in America between city leaders. And there's the Pratt side, which says, I don't do ideology, I don't do national issues. I do fixing things that are broken in your city. I want the streets clean, and I want fires to not burn things down. Okay, that is one kind of mayor that we're getting. The other is Mamdani, which is, I don't want to fix any problems. I just want to change the way you think, right? It's all propaganda. So it doesn't surprise me that Pratt has a plan to fix physical things, and Mamdani has a plan to warp your mind. Where you spend your money on those two things tells you what your priority is. And it's so classic because communists can't do things in the real world that work. All they can do is persuade you to not see the real world. And that's what he's good at, and that's what he's leaning into, and he's hiring all these people to try to do that.
This is on top of his existing communications team, which is expected to be larger than that of any other mayor in the history of New York City. So this is classic communism. You just control the meaning of words. I will say, even if you don't know what they're going to do, you just have to be angry that they're spending money on something that is, at a bare minimum, unnecessary.
Right. When you talk about the machine with Spencer Pratt, right, this is part of that machine. It's feeding people messaging. I mean, to me, this office might as well be the Iran state TV here, because that's what you're dealing with. That's the kind of information that they're putting out, like through their lens, the way they see it, filtered through that blender, and completely misconstruing what is actually happening on the ground here. And the problem is, some of us are living through what is on the ground here, but for other people who don't have the familiarity, they might look at that and take it on face value. This is very dangerous, and he's using our taxpayer dollars to do it. Every week when we talk about a new story of he's doing this or he's doing that, and he keeps upping the ante, it gets very scary for me when this is going to end, because it all just started. But I do remind everybody out there that he promised you and was honest about what he was going to do. So to a certain degree, I'm not surprised by any of this, and I urge people in Los Angeles that are thinking about voting or thinking, Griff, about not voting to really make sure that they get there to vote, because this is it's important, and you're going to have to live with your decisions in a real way. In the case of Karen Bass, and here too in New York City in the winter, we lost homeless people on the street, from freezing conditions, and I could go on and on. I mean, there are real life consequences to what they are doing.
Well, so the Office of Mass Engagement, that's what they're calling it. What does that mean? And if you Google it, it's hard to get an answer, but let's not forget, he just stood up a commission on government efficiency.
Yeah.
I guess that's not working out so well, because now he's got an Office of Mass Engagement that's ballooning out of control. And when you look into what this new creation is, the leader of it, the director, is a woman named Tasha Van Auden. Tasha Van Auden is a veteran Democrat Socialist of America grassroots organizer, was part of the Mamdani campaign out in the field. he's bringing her in. And so, to your point, I guess all they're going to do is stand up this messaging machine to make sure that all of the voters in New York City who think their life sucks because of things he's done, they're going to change their minds.
No, it's actually beyond that, because the New York Post spotted on the Lower East Side 3 workers trying to get people to turn up at the rent guidelines board hearings in an effort to greenlight the rent freeze. So it's not just
solicitation.
Right. This is a taxpayer-funded political entity that is working to push through his agenda. It's not just language.
And they're going to flood City Hall.
It's word and deed.
The good news is I'm coming armed with facts today that show there might be fewer and fewer of those taxpayers of which they're trying to change their mind or change their opinion. Did you guys see the new CBRE corporate headquarter relocation study that just came out? 725 companies relocated their headquarters in the last 7 years. 111 went to Dallas-Fort Worth. This is between 2018 and 2025. Austin added 88 and Houston gained 31. So between the 3 of those, Texas is now the hub for headquarter relocations, and hopefully not just the headquarters, but the actual people go with them. Florida, Miami was also a major beneficiary alone. They said 6 companies moved their operations to Miami from LA, the Bay Area, and Boston, drawing from the high-tax states of the East Coast. More importantly, these companies didn't just say, we're doing it for tax purposes or cost cutting. They said we're doing it for a strategic opportunity to reshape organizational culture, rejuvenate employee behavior, and integrate new change and management initiatives. These companies are thinking, I just don't want to
translate that. What does that mean?
I'm not just going to cut costs and leave New York and go to Texas. I want to rethink the way I'm thinking about my company, about my employees. Instead of a huge metro, New York City area, maybe an intra-metro, maybe balancing lifestyle. So I think corporations are going to be leading this in terms of how we're going to be changing the way we're thinking, and maybe we won't have to sit here and be listening to the Department of whatever, mass
Office of
propaganda.
Mass Engagement. And can I just say one more thing to your point, Brian, because I think you laid it out so very well about what kind of mayor they are, the non-ideological ones or the propaganda ones like Mamdani. If you look in the Post today, Mamdani is leading a charge now to rename the Queensboro Bridge, which was named in Mayor Ed Koch's name. His name has been on there for years and years. So he's bringing cancel culture
Rename it
back.
to what?
They want to call it the 59th Street Bridge. They just want Koch's name off of it because it's bad. Ed Koch is bad, even though he was the guy that walked around the city going, how am I doing? How am I doing? Not so great. Potholes suck. Let me fix it.
Because he's Jewish. Mr. didn't go to the Israel Day parade, was riding around on his bicycle.